Hey everyone, and welcome to SkillCapped. In this video, we'll be going over the 5 most overpowered guns in Valorant that are in desperate need of a nerf by Riot. Now, this list isn't just one person's opinion. We consulted with Immortal to Radiant players and coaches, along with researching both the pro scene and the top level of solo queue. On top of all of this, we'll be using actual stats to back up our claims. We really did our best here to bring the most accurate snapshot of the weapon meta in Valorant. Now, this list will be ranked from the least overpowered to most overpowered, so make sure that you stay until the end. Before we jump into it though, I think it'd be awesome if you left a comment below on what you think are the 5 most overpowered weapons in Valorant. That way, by the end of the video, you can see how close your top 5 picks are to SkillCapped. Alright, so coming in 5th on the list is the classic pistol. A trend we've noticed in both pro play and high levels of solo queue are players transitioning away from the ghost on pistol round and instead going with the classic pistol with light armor and one piece of utility. And to gain insight into why this is, you first need to be familiar with a concept called time to kill, or TTK for short. The TTK of a weapon represents how fast it can kill an enemy and is often considered the gold standard in stats when it comes to analyzing a weapon's strength. For example, here we see the classic pistol's time to kill. At the top, it shows the health of the opponent. 100 is no armor, 125 is light armor, and 150 is full armor. We can see against opponents within 0 to 30 meters and no armor, if we land only headshots, it will take 0.15 seconds to kill them. What if they have full armor though? Well, this is what's a bit surprising. It's the exact same 0.15 seconds. This is the value of knowing the time to kill. We're able to conclude that as long as we land headshots on an opponent within 30 meters, we will kill them in the same amount of time regardless of their armor. Okay, so now let's compare the classic pistol's time to kill, a completely free pistol, against the ghost, which cost 500 credits. We can see for headshots only, they have the same time to kill in almost all conditions, 0.15 seconds. The only exception is the classic taking twice as long against a fully armored target past 30 meters. Also, you can see for the ghost that it has a 0-second kill time against no armor opponents within 30 meters. This just means it kills them in one bullet. However, don't get ahead of yourself. Remember that on pistol round, if you're running the classic pistol, you always grab that light armor. So let's take a look at the time to kill of the classic against a ghost user with no armor and a ghost against a classic user with light armor. What you'll find is they have the exact same time to kill, except for body shots within 30 meters, where the classic actually kills faster. So what does all this mean? Well, on pistol round, a classic user can buy armor for 400 credits and one additional piece of utility for 100 credits and actually have the stronger weapon in a duel than a ghost user who spend all 500 of their starting credits. This also doesn't factor in the right-click mode of the classic pistol that fires a 3-round burst. Within 30 meters, as long as 2 of the 3 bullets of your burst hit an enemy in the head, it's an instant kill even if they have full armor. Yes, what this means is that a free starting pistol can one-shot a fully armored enemy with a rifle, costing 3,900 credits. Not to mention that you're also able to jump spot over cover and right-click with the classic, which can be an extremely effective tactic and hard to counter. This is why we're seeing more pros go with the classic, light armor 1 ability on pistol round, and also why it's the 5th spot on the list. Now, before we head into the 4th pick, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at skillcapped.com, link in the description below. It's there, you'll not only find over 700 premium Valorant guides, but we also have up-to-date lineups for your favorite agents, detailed map breakdowns of the best strategies and spots to play, and an expanding library of live Smurf commentaries by some of the top Valorant players breaking down how you too can climb out of every rank in Valorant, ranging from Iron to Diamond. All of this can be unlocked with no risk with our rank improvement guarantee, so click the link in the description below, head to skillcapped.com, and get the rank you've always wanted. Alright, moving on, in 4th place we have the Odin. Now, I know some of the higher ranked players watching this might be a bit confused. This is because in the high ranks, the Odin is mainly reserved for Sova mains with Sinatra's poster on their wall to use in conjunction with his recon bolt to wallbang opponents with its high damage, rate of fire, wall penetration, and magazine size. However, I know for a fact those in silver and below are straight traumatized by the Odin. And it's for a good reason. The lower in ranks that you go, the less accurate players are, which means less quick peeks into one-shot headshots with the Vandal or Phantom. And in this environment where players have low accuracy, the Odin will reign supreme. Don't believe me? Check this out. Compare the time to kill for body shots only of the Odin, Vandal, and Phantom. Keep in mind that the Odin gets a 130% fire rate increase when scoped down sights. That's why the time to kill has a range. First of all, within 30 meters, the Odin kills almost twice as fast as the Vandal. That's insane. It's also significantly faster than the Phantom at all ranges. Here's the thing though, it's not just the time to kill that makes it powerful. You know what else low-ranked players struggle with besides accuracy? Spray control. Go into the practice mode and test this out for yourself. Go to the target and set it to 30 meters. Try spraying with an Odin scoped in and controlling the spray for around 30 bullets. There literally isn't a more accurate, fully automatic weapon in the game. This thing is like a laser. Now try controlling a full clip of a Vandal. Then try controlling a full clip of a Phantom. When you combine the fact that you can aim for a larger target, the body, have an extremely low time to kill, and have a far easier time spraying, you can see just why the Odin is a bit unbalanced for the majority of the player base. Now, I'm curious though, if you had to balance the Odin, what changes would you make? Let us know in the comment section below, as we'd love to hear your thoughts. Personally, I'd probably just increase the price. I would want to keep Odin's identity as this crazy heavy machine gun, but at its current price point of 3,200 credits, only 300 more expensive than a Vandal or Phantom, a 100 to 300 cost increase I think would be a good idea. Alright, now we're starting to get to the truly overpowered territory, and the first weapon to break into the top 3 is none other than the Frenzy. Remember earlier how I said less pros were going with the Ghost and instead opting for the classic and light armor on pistol round? Well, the other half of the pros have been starting to run a Frenzy. First of all, the raw stats of this gun are absolutely insane. Check out its time to kill compared to the classic pistol and the Ghost. The Frenzy has a faster time to kill than both of these weapons in every single situation except 2. The first being at 0 to 30 meters, headshots only, against no armor opponents, with the Ghost being a 1-tap, and at the opposite end of the extreme, past 30 meters against fully armored opponents, it has a 0.05 slower time to kill than the Ghost. Besides that, in every single other condition, the Frenzy will just straight up kill faster. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, you know how the Frenzy is 400 credits, 100 cheaper than the Ghost? Well, since you start with 800 credits, that means you can actually go Frenzy with light armor. And this is actually a new pistol round strategy a lot of pros are running on agents who don't necessarily have a ton of useful utility on the first round, such as Jet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, the Frenzy kills faster, but that's not realistic as it's much harder to control the recoil as you won't be hitting all of your bullets. Well, let's test this out in the practice mode. You'll see at 5 meters, you won't miss a single bullet. At 10 meters, again, don't miss a single bullet. At 20 meters, we start missing bullets, but it doesn't matter because we're still killing the target. Again, you might be thinking this isn't fair, I'm staying still and crouching for perfect accuracy. Well, this is only when it gets worse. At 5 meters, you can just run and spray and easily kill an opponent. You can do the exact same run and spray strategy at 10 meters. It's only at 20 meters does it become too inconsistent for us to run and spray, and we'll need to stay still and spray instead. Keep in mind, with the way maps are designed in Valorant anyways, the vast majority of engagements will be taken under 30 meters anyways. Either way, even if they are at 30 meters or further, as long as you land that headshot with the first bullet, you'll still kill them in milliseconds with the rest of your spray. Given that the Frenzy is the second cheapest weapon in the game at 400 credits, it's not only seeing play on the pistol round, it's now become the new go-to purchase for eco rounds as well. Now, what would you guys change if you had to nerf the Frenzy? For me, I think a huge part of the problem is just how accurate it is when you're moving. That's the nerf I'd like to see, making it more inaccurate when you're running. Moving on, in the coveted second spot of the most overpowered weapons in Valorant that needs a nerf, we have the automatic shotgun known as the Judge. And trust me, if you run into this in close range, you and any nearby teammates are being sentenced to death. Here's the weird thing about the Judge though, most high-ranked players widely consider this gun to be overpowered, while lower-ranked players tend to consider it to be more balanced. And I think one huge reason for that is that not a lot of players realize how you're supposed to aim with the shotguns in Valorant. Let me show you what I mean. So this target dummy is 10 meters away, and as we know in Valorant, we want to aim for the head, right? Well, what you'll find is at this range, if we aim for the head, we're on average hitting around 119 damage, we can't even one-shot an enemy with light armor. So now I know what you're thinking. So we want to aim for the body then. The biggest target, so the most amount of our bullets will hit. Well, you'll average around 153 damage, which is a one-shot kill, and is better than aiming for the head, but if you instead aim so that the top of the crosshair circle is on the top of the target's head, you'll find we consistently do a much higher amount of damage on average. This is the sweet spot and how you want to aim with the shotgun in Valorant, mainly towards the chest while keeping the top part of the crosshair on top of the enemy's head. Once you know this trick, you'll realize you can basically just one-shot enemies within 10 meters consistently, which is actually quite far, and with the Judge's high rate of fire, you can end up one-shotting entire teams trying to push close corridors. Now, shotguns have their place in Valorant, but the real strength of the Judge is that it only costs 1600 credits. You know what else costs 1600 credits? A Spectre. And when was the last time you saw that take out entire teams of full armor and rifles? It's just way too powerful for its price point, and if you're still not convinced, here's one other thing. This whole time, we've been talking about its one-shot potential. Well, consider how strong it is even if you have to land 2 shots. Killing a fully armored enemy in 2 shots with a Judge has a time to kill of 0.29 seconds. That's faster than a Vandal with 100% accurate body shots at all ranges, and nearly the same as a Phantom. Also, with a judge, you can easily land one-shot or two-shot kills while moving, while riflers often need to stand still to be accurate, making the judge player even harder to hit. In my opinion though, the biggest issue with the judge is its low price point, making it far too frequent of a pickup on light buy rounds, force buys, etc., while not being punishing enough to the player's economy. Its power to price ratio is just a bit too uneven right now, and so I could see a future nerf involving either increasing the price by a bit. I mean, just compare buying a judge at 1600 to someone buying a bulldog at 2100, or God forbid a guardian at 2400, and you'll understand what I mean by power to price ratio. But let me know what your thoughts are below, as I'd love to hear them. Alright, and finally, we have what is considered to be the most overpowered gun in Valorant. I'm sure most of you know what it's going to be. I can't be the only one having nightmares of players running around corners with this thing. Yes, it's the Stinger. The Stinger is insane in quite literally every single possible way you could evaluate it. It's one of the cheapest weapons in the game at 1000 credits. It has the highest rate of fire in the game, yes, even faster than a scoped-in Odin at 18 rounds a second. And now, fair warning, what I'm about to show you will likely change the way you look at Valorant until the Stinger gets nerfed. First, let's look at the time to kill for the Stinger against a fully armored target within 20 meters. Alright, so these are some crazy low numbers, but now let's take a look at the time to kill for the Stinger past 20 meters. Well, that's strange, there is quite literally no difference. So here's the thing, the damage drop-off on the Stinger is so low that it actually doesn't make a difference when it comes to time to kill. This effectively means the Stinger is one of the only guns in the game that does the same amount of damage at all ranges. It doesn't stop there though, let's compare the Stinger to the Phantom and Vandal. Do you notice anything strange about the time to kill for body shots? At nearly all ranges, the Stinger actually kills faster than both the Phantom and Vandal. Now, normally this wouldn't be a problem. After all, at longer ranges, the Stinger is too inaccurate. But is it really? At 20 meters, I can land all 4 of my first bullets killing an opponent. At 30 meters, I can kill an opponent in the first 10 bullets. Okay, let's crank it up to 50 meters. There's no way I can land shots at this distance, right? Well, here's the thing, the Stinger has an alternate fire mode where you can shoot 4 bursts of bullets. And because of how small the damage drop-off is on the Stinger, as long as I land 2 headshots and 1 body shot in that 4-round burst, I can kill an opponent at 50 meters and further in 0.24 seconds. If I land 2 headshots and 2 body shots in the 4-round burst, I killed him in 0.35 seconds. To put this in perspective, if you had a Marshall and landed 2 body shots as fast as possible at 50 meters, it would take you 0.67 seconds to kill the opponent. That's more than twice as long as a Stinger. That means in a very real way, the Stinger is a better sniper than a Marshall, while also being nearly unbeatable in close ranges. Oh yeah, just a reminder, it cost 1000 credits. Now, if all of this wasn't enough, just check this out. Yes, I just sprayed, not scoping in, at 50 meters and killed a fully armored target in 1 clip. Man, I haven't even mentioned the most overpowered part of this gun. You can run and spray with insane accuracy. In fact, all the way up to 20 meters, you can run and spray and consistently kill opponents in 1 clip. The Stinger is by far the most overpowered weapon in the game right now and is in desperate need of a nerf, possibly multiple nerfs. Firstly, it needs actual damage drop-off, so it can't be used long ranges with such effectiveness, and its moving accuracy is way too good. Not to mention the insanely high rate of fire and low cost, but what do you guys think? What change would you make about the Stinger? And remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Otherwise, you know the deal, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to show your support and let us know you want to see more guides like this one. Also, leave a comment below and let us know what you think are the 5 most overpowered weapons in Valorant. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.